Former President Donald Trump taking a record-setting win in last night's Iowa caucuses, nabbing 51% of the vote. CNN's Ivan Rodriguez joins us now to talk about what's next for the Republican candidates. Ivan, thanks so much for joining us. Let's talk a little bit about what happened last night. Was a Trump win expected?
Faiza, that was probably the only thing that we were probably expecting to come out of last night's Iowa caucuses was for former President Trump to come out with a win. You said there, 51% of the vote he received. He was followed by Ron Desantis in second with 21% of the vote and Nikki Haley with 19%. So the battle was always going to be for second. And that's really what has been so interesting leading in to the Iowa caucuses, because we had seen in the polls that Nikki Haley was actually going to be coming in second, and then followed by Governor Ron Desantis. But that was only one aspect of it. The other part was the enthusiasm factor and how many supporters were likely going to come out and brace the frigid temperatures and actually go out and caucus. So we clearly saw a little bit more enthusiasm from those DeSantis supporters, which we had seen from that poll. It was looking right around 62% of his supporters said they felt extremely enthusiastic compared to Haley's 39%.
And a surprising move from one candidate who pulled their campaign at the end of the night. Did this candidate support someone else?
Yeah, so Ramaswamy coming in fourth place, suspending his campaign and immediately endorsing former President Trump. What's interesting here is what's going to be the impact moving forward when we have an eye on New Hampshire now, and all these candidates are eyeing what comes next. So we assume that a lot of that voting base from Ramaswamy is just going to transition over to Trump, which is going to be great news for the Trump campaign.
Let's talk a little bit about what's next for the candidates and when an official Republican presidential nominee will be chosen.
So that's still a little bit down the line, but looking straight ahead, a week from today exactly, we have the New Hampshire primary. And this is where I sort of come back to what's going to happen with the votes of those candidates who are no longer in the race. Ramaswamy, even though he was probably only polling right around 8% in New Hampshire, not a lot of votes, it might make a difference for the Trump team. The other factor that's important in New Hampshire is Governor Chris Christie. He was polling right around 12% in New Hampshire in that latest poll. So we have an idea that a lot of those votes are going to be transitioning over to the Haley camp. So that's something that they're possibly looking forward to. Now we're beginning to see different strategies take place as well, because Ron DeSantis today is traveling to South Carolina. So he clearly has his eyes set on what could possibly be a contentious fight there in Haley's home turf. And if he can pull something out of there, he's probably putting himself in a good position come Super Tuesday in March. Now, Haley, for her part, is going straight to New Hampshire from here. She commented on, Ron DeSantis' choice to go to South Carolina first, saying somebody should probably tell him that New Hampshire is up first. So it really is going to be interesting in New Hampshire what happens, because we're currently seeing a pretty tight race. As I was mentioning, Donald Trump is in the lead with about 39% of the votes based on latest polling, followed by Nikki Haley at 32%. So there's a close gap there. What happens in the end is going to be very important for the future.
Ivan, you mentioned there the strategies for the candidates. I'm just curious, what do you make of the messaging from Haley and DeSantis as these results were coming in last night?
So last night we got a little bit of a sense of what that messaging is. From the Haley part of this, we heard her during her speech last night sort of make the argument that she is the antidote between a Biden and a Trump rematch come this November. And pretty much she went on to say, quote, Trump and Biden both lack a vision for our country's future. because both are consumed by the past, by investigations, vendettas, grievances. America deserves better. Ron DeSantis, on the other hand, is trying to use this second place finish here in Iowa to gain more momentum heading into New Hampshire, and of course, really saying that he's at no point even close to dropping out of this race.
Okay, Ivan, thank you so much for that. We'll keep watching. That's CNN's Ivan Rodriguez reporting.